Okay, so hello everyone. I'm going to show you how to set up your Google Sites for your photography composition album. So if we go over here, I'm just going to show you my example. So on Google Sites, basically you're creating your own website. There's different content blocks you could add and different pages and themes and so on. So for the photo composition, you should have already had this set up where you added the text boxes so that you could add your titles, which are rule of thirds, leading lines, framing, and the choice photos. And then you also should have added your content blocks. So the content blocks that we're using are the not the 2x2, the photos that are side by side. So if I were to click on it, it will be side to side. For each photo composition, you need 2 examples for each. So for example, for rule of thirds, I have 2 rule of thirds photos. For leading lines, I have 2 of them. For framing, I have 2 examples. And then for the choice photos, I'm going to have 4 photos. So for the choice photos, it could either be from our shared Google Drive, or it could be photos that you've taken on your phone or own devices. So I'm going to show you how to upload a photo. So let's say this content block, let's say I'm starting from the beginning, right? So I added my heading, which is rule of thirds, and then I have my 2 photos for my content box here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google Classroom, and you can see that I uploaded the ICT Grade 9 Google Drive folder. In this folder, this is where you have all of your pictures. So you could scroll through the main one, or you could go through each SD card if you would like. But basically, you're going to choose your photos. So the first one I need are my rule of thirds photos. So I'm going to scroll through each one. And keep in mind, rule of thirds means that my focal point is not in the middle. It could be in any of the corners. So let's say I want to use this photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download it. I'm going to click on download. And then the moment I see this pop up over here, I'm going to go back to my Google Sites. I'm going to click on the plus button. I'm going to say upload. I'm going to go to my downloads, and then I'm going to click on the photo that I downloaded and open it. Now what I also want you to do is make sure you click on uncrop so that you have the full size photos. So now, in order for me to write down my elements, my photo composition, and my focal point, I'm going to go to the click to edit text. And over here, it kind of looks like Google Docs where you could edit your text. So for my alignment, I'm going to go left align. And the first one I'm going to write are my elements. So I'm going to write what I see in this photo. So there are the animals, the dominoes, the cart, books, and a bookshelf. The next thing I'm going to write about is my photo composition, which is the rule of thirds. And then the last thing I'm going to write about is my focal point. So I would say my focal point would be the dominoes with the animals on top. So I would say dominoes with the animals on top. Now, if I want to edit my text, I could easily just highlight it. I could bold it, I could italics, underline, I could even change the color of my text. So I'm going to do that for all of them. Maybe I want that red, and then my focal point, I will make it purple. And then you have something that looks like this. If you want to view it, you could go to preview, so you could see what it would look like if it was published. And again, like that. And then you could also go back to editing mode. But yeah, so make sure you have 2 examples for each. You could also play around with these different features if you would like. For example, adding a theme and so on. And just make sure that you publish your website before you send it to me. So make sure you press publish. So publish. And then you could send me the link by clicking on the publish site link and then copying it and then putting it in your handing it in through Google Classroom. In case you forget how each of these photo compositions work, you could also go back to the classwork and look for the photo composition Google Slides, which will explain to you what each one is. So for example, how to get phone, grids, photo composition, rule of thirds, some tips, and so on, a little bit of examples. And there's also the staging photos presentations for you to look at. Other than that, if you have any questions, just let me know, or you could ask some of your peers.